You're saying the Vanderlei family created this city underneath Manhattan back in the 40s, that they did this to evade being overtaken by secret societies, that they owned the early subway stations in Manhattan and dug a miles-long tunnel underneath it where they built this city. And your friend, Peter, discovered it. He found this tunnel, found the city, came back and told you everything and disappeared days later.
Exactly. And so after I'd spent years researching the Vanderlei family, I went back to the Bedford Park Station where Peter said the tunnel was to see for myself. Brought demolition equipment with me and spent hours knocking down the bricks. And as I'd finally started seeing the tunnel behind the wall, I couldn't believe my eyes. Cleared it enough to allow myself to crawl through and walked for what felt like hours down this dark tunnel. My plan was simple. Get in, document enough footage to convince NYPD that this place actually existed, and get out.
You wanted to take the place down?
As far as I knew, they were responsible for Peter's disappearance, let alone the unaliving of Joey and Mark. Of course, I wanted to take them down. They were tyrannical and posed a threat to the city. Or so I thought. The tunnel finally came to a halt, and lo and behold, I was overlooking an unfathomably massive city miles underground. All I could think about was Peter. Crazy son of a bitch wasn't lying after all. Took an obnoxious amount of pictures, but I felt like I needed more to convince police. And so, realizing I'd never have this opportunity again, I hiked down and made my way into the city. Tried to stay low-key and unnoticed as I'd lurked the streets, snapping as many photos as I could until a familiar voice called out from behind me and sent shivers down my spine. "Shouldn't be here, Tommy," he'd said to me softly. I turned around to confirm what I already knew. It was Peter. Couldn't believe my eyes. Felt like I was looking at a ghost. Before I could respond, he goes, "I told you what they do to outsiders, Tommy. What are you doing with that camera?" I said back to him, "So this is where you've been all these years? I thought you were dead, Peter. You just dump all that information on me and go missing?" He says to me, "Don't give me that shit, Tommy. You thought I was crazy." I said to him, "Did some research and realized you weren't. Now I see the truth, and pretty soon the rest of the world will too." He goes, "Whoa there, Tommy. I can't let you do that. There's things about this place you don't understand. Things I hadn't told you." I go, "Things I don't understand? Listen to yourself, Peter. You came back to seek refuge from people who killed your friends. You're pathetic." He goes, "Listen, we have ruthless ways here, but it's necessary." I go, "We? You think you're part of the little exclusive Vanderlei club now? These people have blood on their hands, Pete. Don't be on the wrong side of history when it comes to a head." He goes, "Look, Tommy, you only know that this place does exist, but you don't know why." I say to him, "What are you going to explain away my confusion and finish me swiftly like they did Joey and Mark? Save it. You already told me what they told you. Vanderleis were afraid of neighboring secret societies, so they created their own. This doesn't make them better. It makes them cowards." This is where he says to me, "You don't get it, Tommy. We're not safe up there. Something's coming. Something catastrophic. The Vanderleis knew things only the wealthiest elite of our world knew. Things that had went back to the beginning of our times. When these people first conquered our known lands, they came from places beyond, Tommy, the unknown lands." I said to him, "Unknown lands? What the hell are you talking about, Pete?" He goes, "Listen, everything you know about our world is a fabrication, conceived only to keep your mind and body trapped. Our world is not what you think, Tommy. It's far more vast than you've been led to believe. We're taught the world has 7 continents, but there's far more, Tommy. Hundreds more." I say to him, "What, that's impossible. We'd know about this." He goes, "No, we wouldn't, Tommy. When the lie has been orchestrated well enough, it becomes the truth. Listen, Antarctica is not the ice cap you've been led to believe, okay, but rather a 360-degree ice mass in which we are inside of." He goes, "Beyond it, Tommy. Beyond it is where our settlers came from. The Vanderleis were one of 7 families who came into this region of the world. They navigated over our ice wall through oceanic passageways and found our lands, the 7 continents that were inside. Each one of the 7 families claimed a continent and had a pact to command and conquer this new world. But as the millenniums passed, tensions rose. Certain families clicked up and became Machiavellian, wanting even more concentrated power, darker agendas that they knew particular families would oppose. I cut Peter off at that point and said, What kind of darker agendas? He continued and said, "Great resets, Tommy. Great resets." They would cyclically reset their own populations, an act of dominance, for control over problematic subsets of their own populations. At first, the tyrannical families would do this on their own turfs, but eventually wanted every family complicit in the protocol. The Vanderleys, however, wanted no parts of this, which is what led to the infiltration. These power-hungry families began a decades-long covert process of overtaking the Vanderleys' continent, our continent. When the Vanderleys realized what was happening, they tried to send a voyage out back over the ice wall, but realized the other families had collapsed all of the exit passages. There was no way out, so they went down. He goes, "Tommy, the greatest reset they've ever executed is coming. This place, down here, is the only city that will survive it.